Hi, my name is Tyrone Fields, and I want to talk to you about getting away from the herd. This particular lesson is very important. It's something that I didn't realize until a little later on when I first got into trading stock and getting into the stock market and investing. I did not know anything about the herd. I didn't understand what the herd was until I actually, I read a book about it. And still, yet, even though I read the book, I still didn't practice, getting away from the herd. It was so hard for me because it was just all a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing, and once you figure out how to get away from the herd, and you figure out what you're doing, and figure out what the herd is, you can benefit substantially. You can make an incredible amount of money. I know you're very successful right now. I know what you're learning is benefiting you, but getting away from the herd is very important. No matter how much information no matter how much you can interpret that information, you have to understand what the herd is, and you have to know when it's good to invest with the herd, and you have to know when it's not good to invest with the herd. So, in this lesson, I want to talk about what the herd is and how you can benefit from them. Okay, so as we know, there's two characteristics of investing. Two characters. You have the trend investor and the astute investor. The trend investor is someone you can invest with the trend. All right, so you see a stock going up, and you have an opportunity. You have a window of opportunity to get into that stock, as everybody is actually funneling money through that stock. As you know, that's how you make money in stock. Other people funnel money in that stock, and that stock actually increases in value. And while you're in that trade, your investment increases in value because people are putting money into that stock. If people are taking money from the stock, you're actually losing money. All right, so even though you're not losing that much because I taught you how to protect your assets. All right, but that's trend investing. An astute investor is someone that takes advantage of opportunities. They take advantage of opportunities. Like if everyone else says, "Oh, this stock is going down," the astute investor knows how to calculate if the stock is going down or not. The astute investor knows how to look at his financial statement, his or her financial statements, and his technical analysis to tell if the stock is actually going down. You know how to do that because you're in Investors Academy. Since you're here in Investors Academy, we supplied you with the tools to be able to do that type of stuff, to be able to identify if a stock is an actual opportunity. So that's a benefit for you. You're an astute investor, and you can look at a stock and tell if this stock is actually opportunity. You can be able to see that. Okay. As we know, the characteristics of a market, like I said before, you buy low and you sell high, or sell high and buy low. We all know the market is very emotional. The market is driven by the news, by the fundamentals, and by the technicals. We know that, but mostly the market is driven by the news or by the emotions. When I first started trading, like I said, I didn't know anything about that. I was strictly technicals, and I would look at the technicals and I would say, "Hey, the technicals are right. It can't be. Why am I losing money?" But really, it was the emotion. Same thing with earnings. I used to invest in earnings. When I invested in earnings, when I first started off investing in earnings, I wasn't understanding. The company was reporting better than expected earnings, but the stock was still going down. It was still bearish, and I couldn't figure out why it was bearish. Oftentimes, it's the news. So if you're looking at a stock and it has good technicals, good fundamentals, beware of that news. Okay, beware of the news, because here it is right here. It's very important. The news. That's why I tell you, look at the actual the economics. When the news report the economic reports, it's important that you look at that, because those things happen. The news can report poor economic reports, and you can have a decrease in your stock. All right, and that's why we teach you how to have a stop loss and your trailing stop loss to protect yourself. So most individuals that invest in the market tend to invest based on emotion in the news, which can be characterized as investing with the herd. So the herd is a group of people. When I say the herd, when I say herd, what comes into mind? The sheep. Okay, you have the sheep. When one sheep goes that way, all the other sheep go the same way. They conform. Me personally, I would not have been as successful as I am in the stock market if I would have, continuously invested with the herd. It was when I found out, about the herd, and to get away from the herd, that's when I began becoming incredibly successful in the stock market. And the same thing can happen to you. That's where your 100%, 200, 300, 400% profits come from, is when you recognize, hey, I need to get out the herd. It's when everybody else, they spot, oh, the news is telling me this stock is bad, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my money out. Now the stock is going down. But you as an astute investor, you see that stock, hey, this is a good looking stock. I know how to read the fundamentals. That's what I was talking about, interpreting information. Now you're a part of Investors Academy. You know how to interpret information, so you can look at the actual fundamentals of that stock and tell that stock is not a bearish stock. It's actually a good stock. Warren Buffett, one of the most successful people in the stock market. He talks about that. He talks about the herd. He knows how to look at the underlying fundamentals, which you learn. He knows how to look at the technicals. He knows when to look at that stuff. All right. So, like I said, the herd hears something on the news and they all go into running. All right. But you, as an astute investor, you don't invest with the herd. You can actually get the herd to buy from you. You could buy that stock down here, and the herd can be buying from you up here. Okay, so here's an actual example. I was had a mentor session, and I was talking to one of the proteges, and this is Bank of America. I was talking about Bank of America. They reported. I actually did a video on this too, on the opportunities, and I was talking about Bank of America, and they reported bad earnings. According to the analysts. Remember, the analysts determine if it's bad earnings. The numbers are really what determine, but according to the analysts, if it doesn't reach the analysts' expectations, it's considered bad earnings. And you can see this all the time. Companies report earnings almost every day. Alright, but I was talking to my protege, and I was telling him, I was saying, hey, Bank of America, they reported, worse than expected earnings according to the analysts, but let's take a look at this. And we actually pulled out the financial statements, and we saw the financial statements, and it turns out Bank of America was a pretty decent company. They're a good company. The earnings, the paperwork, the numbers didn't lie. You saw the numbers. We did that, and then we also looked at the technicals. We see this is that we looked at that support line, and then we saw, oh man, this stock is trending below its support line. So what's going to happen? We put up the stochastics. We pulled out the Bollinger Bands. The MACD. We put out everything, and we saw that, and we identified an opportunity. That's an astute investor. Everybody else, as you can see, they're selling down here. Now, which, you can benefit from this. You can benefit, by being a trend investor. But, ultimately, you can make a lot of money from being an astute investor. You see down here, this stock hit right here. This is when they reported earnings. It hit right there. Now, you as an astute investor could have bought down here, and you could have been selling your stock to the herd up here. The astute investor sells their stock to the herd. Okay? Just like down here, you see that doji. And the stock is actually going up. As you can see, this right here, you can tell this is bad news. But you see that stock, you know the stock eventually is going to skyrocket. It's going to go back up. And the astute investor knows how to, differentiate, bad news from the good news, opinion from fact. All right, as it says right here, characteristics of an astute investor. They can see opportunities. They understand fact versus opinion. They take advantage of oppositions. They take calculated risk. You, as being a part of Investors Academy, you're an astute investor. We have taught you. We gave you the tools. We gave you the tools, and we're going to continuously give you tools constantly based on where the market was going on with the market to be able to be an astute investor and to be able to notice the trend and to be able to capitalize off the trend, to be able to calculate what's going on. We're giving you that. Okay? So be an astute investor. All right? Know when to use, astuteness, and know when to use trend. Use the trend investing. Okay. One thing that I want you to watch out for is the news. Okay, the news can be very subjective. You hear all of these analysts. You watch the news. You hear all the analysts say, "Hey, this stock is going down," but you hear another analyst say, "Hey, this stock looks good." Everybody has the subjective way of looking at things, a particular stock. We gave you the facts. Okay, you, as being a part of Investors Academy, we gave you the tools to be able to formulate a fact on that stock. You see that stock, you know how to formulate a fact because you have the tools. You have the tools. You know how to look at the fundamentals. You know how to look at the technicals. So you can make your own decision. Okay? The news can sometimes be deceiving. All right? Oftentimes, many people say, most people do better in the stock market by not even looking at the news, because the news are designed, they're designed to give you subjective, reasoning on why a particular stock is going up or going down. That's what it's there for. It's just to capitalize. All right. Sometimes you can capitalize off the news. Sometimes you can look at the news, and if the news is actual fact, and you see or say the news is terrible, like say a CEO is getting fired, or a lawsuit is going on, or BP, the oil spill, stuff like that, and the stock is going down, that right there, that would be a sufficient amount of information to be a trend investor. To be a trend investor, short the stock or buy put, stuff like that. Looking at the news, you have to be able to cipher, what's good news and what's bad news. You have to be able to cipher what's fact, what's opinion. Okay? Same thing with the internet. You have to watch the internet. The internet can be subjective. It's tons of videos, it's tons of stuff on the internet, of people claiming, I know where the stock is going. Just like the penny stocks, you'll receive information about a penny stock. Oh, this penny stock is going up, it's going to skyrocket. But what tends to happen with that penny stock? It goes down. 9 out of 10 penny stocks go down. You lose your money. They'll pump that penny stock up. They'll pump it up till it get all the way up here, and then it goes down. Everybody sell it. The astute investor sells it to you up here, and the stock goes down. They have a huge position of the stock, and they sell it to you. The stock goes down. So I just want you to be aware of those things. The internet, I'm telling you, be aware of that. There's so much information out there that can lead you down a wrong path. The penny stocks, and this company looks good. You have to watch that. All right. You have the tools to actually formulate an opinion. You to be an astute investor, to capitalize, to know when to use those tools. Okay. I have videos. I have a video on here where I was identifying opportunities, and it's based off of, off of history. It's based off of fundamentals, and it's based off of, I use several things, to actually look at that stock, and you do the same thing. we encourage you to do this. We encourage you to do the same thing. Okay, so enough of that. All right, I just wanted to talk about that, the differences between the astute investor and the trend investor. That's valuable information for you. I hope that you take that information to heart. It's very important because, like I said, I wasn't really successful until I understood the difference. I went through a lot of trials and tribulations when I was trading stock. I learned the hard way, and you guys don't have to do that. All right, so that's all that I have to say about that. I hope that this was a valuable topic for you, and like always, I enjoyed talking to you. I enjoyed teaching you, and I will talk to you later. All right.